Hi, my name is Leah Day, and welcome to this video for the Free Motion Quilting Project. Today I am back working in the blue background of Express Your Love and this pre-printed spoonflower panel. So if you want to follow along with this quilt, all you have to do is go to spoonflower.com, search for Express Your Love. You'll find this panel, get 1 yard of fabric, and the kind of fabric that I really like is the cotton poplin. And then you'll be able to follow along step by step. So today I am working in this little section right here, and I'm stitching out a design called Universe Spiral. And basically this is a variation of swirling water, which is a beautiful swirling design. It's kind of a variation of McTavishing. It's a lot of lines of quilting all meeting up in the same place. There's both travel stitching and echo quilting. Now, the only difference between swirling water and universe spiral is we're going to put inside the center of that circle a little star. So let's get on the machine and see how this works. I'm going to get started right here in this corner so that way I can kind of work into the area like this, in this general direction. And what I'm going to basically do is just kind of wiggle out and then swirl into a circle. Just like this. That's your base. That's what's going to get you started. Now, and I'm kind of squishing this down. I've got some excess fabric here, so anytime that you see me squishing or moving my hands, that's what I'm doing. Okay, so now to do the star in the center, I'm going to stitch across, then back into the center, then up and down, and then to the sides. I think that'll look really good. And that makes a nice little basic star. And you know, you can go through and darken this up if you want. I'm travel stitching just a little bit extra, kind of make it stand out that much more. And also if my travel stitching isn't quite perfect, then that can kind of make those lines come together a little bit. Okay, so we've got our wiggly line kind of swirling around this little center circle and our star in the center. And now I'm going to start right here and I'm going to swing all the way down, echoing, all the way down and around, echoing that whole shape back to the starting line, not to the starting point, to the starting line, and then echo back up and back around. And I kind of want to come in and hit that line right there. I want to build up the texture right there. That's the travel stitching. You got a little bit of travel stitching in that star and a little bit of travel stitching right here. Building up that texture, making it look nice and pretty. And then I just fill in this weird area with some nice lines. Just gentle curving lines. And I can swing around as many times as I want. 3 or 4 times really looks best, but you know, you can do this as many times as you want. You can continue to build up this one shape with repeated lines of echo quilting. It's really whatever your space needs. I think I'm going to go around one more time because I like to be able to see what I'm doing. And I'm having just a little bit of an issue here with the quilt, so I'm going to rotate it around and see if I can get a little bit better hand grip on it in this direction. Okay, now to start out my next one, I'm going to travel stitch a bit. You can really start this wherever you want, but I wanted to travel stitch down a bit so that way I could swirl up and over into this space right here. And really that's going to come with just simply time and experience stitching out the design. You know, kind of seeing where you want these shapes to go and in what direction you want them to go in. The more you stitch any particular design, the more experience you'll have with it. It'll be like writing your name in cursive. You know, you could write your name anywhere. So the more experience and practice you get with this, the better you'll get. And you can see I'm just kind of bouncing around. There's really, you know, the rule is you want to create that initial shape and then you want to travel and then echo. So that way you build up the space completely. Sometimes you've got weird areas, like right here. I've got this weird area. I've got to fill that in somehow and continue to make it look consistent. So that's really the best way to do that. Now I'm going to swing out and around and build up on this side. And you know, I can keep building this up until it fills in that little space completely. And that'll be a really nice thing, because otherwise, if I tried to like squish a really tiny entire motif right here, right into this little spot, that totally wouldn't work. The best thing to do in that situation is to fill that up with lines. So that's what I'm going to do. Just 2 more passes. And like I said, knowing what to put in what places, that's going to come from experience. And just remember that there's no wrong way to do this. There's no way to mess your quilt up just by choosing one filler design over another. Okay, I'm going to rotate around just a bit. That's the nice thing about this quilt. It's small enough where it's not so bulky that it's going to drive you crazy. And start my other star. And then swing out and around. Now I've got excess fabric right in here, and I want to deal with this. I'm going to rotate the quilt around so you can best see it. You can see how it's just a little puffy right there. And so what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and bring my line in so it just runs right through it and bisects that one spot. That's what I'm going to try and do. See if it'll work. Perfect. Okay. Now I'm going to come up and I'm just going to hit that previous line right there. So I've still got some excess fabric and it's still a little poofy, but in this situation, because it's just ever so slightly poofy in that one little spot, but because the lines ran parallel to it, that poofiness kind of got spread out over that whole little area. So it's not going to be noticeable. It's not going to be something that you see. Rotate the quilt around again, and all I have to do now is just build up this side. So I come in and hit that little inside point and swing out. And I can do this also as many times as I like. So there we go. So that's it for Universe Spiral, and here's what it looks like when you finish stitching it out in this quilt. And I might as well also share with you, this is what this design stitched out even smaller in the background of my son's Stars and Moon quilt. He's a real big fan of space, and this was the perfect design to stitch in this area. So I hope that this video has inspired you to play with this shape, to play with these spirals, and to not be afraid of sometimes looking at your space and having to fit and fill and really squish things into different areas, and also deal with any excess fabric. Even I deal with excess fabric and kind of squishiness in certain spaces, mostly because of the batting I'm working with this particular quilt, but also sometimes it can just be a little issue within the quilt, and we always have to find a way of dealing with it so it's not noticeable when it finishes. The biggest thing, just find the best way that works for you. Keep moving. Don't worry about it. Don't sweat something. Don't get too obsessed with perfection, because that'll kind of lock you in place and it won't keep you moving and making beautiful quilts. So my name is Leah Day, and this has been a video for the Free Motion Quilting Project. Find hundreds of videos on beautiful free motion quilting designs, including swirling water, which was the inspiration for this particular design, and find all of that at freemotionproject.com. Until next time, let's go quilt!